Happy Sunday, everybody. Full 15 game slate, just like we had yesterday. Interesting day. Let's talk about the recap. Let's go into that. Absolutely slayed picking who was going to win games. We only got three wrong. Unfortunately, one of them was the Yankees. Real bummer. Real bummer. That kind of screwed us a little bit. We had Yankees first five, 2 units there. Three hits the whole game. They absolutely sucked. Disappointing. But we did hit every single underdog pick that we had. So we hit the Royals, the A's, the Red Sox, the Twins, and the Pirates. So we absolutely nailed that. The reads were so good except for the Yankees game. Only thing I wish I could take back. D-backs ended up losing. They kind of got slayed early, but that was kind of in the bottom half there. Actually, you know what? The Cubs won. So we freaking hammered that shit yesterday. God, that's disappointing. All right. Let's get that fixed. There we go. So absolutely slayed it and pick the one freaking game. Is what it is. We move on today. Tracking, we're just on a bad streak right now. But the reads, man, I feel like the reads have been so good. It's probably the best I've seen the games. Just got to get the sequencing right and pick the right ones, but really good. Let's start with our hot and cold here today. So a lot of interesting games, a lot of interesting matchups. Sunday slate, man. Got to be careful on Sundays, but nothing that really stands out. A couple of hitters that are hitting strong against Kershaw, but more hitters that have cold matchups, Sonny Gray, stuff like that. Hot pitcher matchups here. Cutter Crawford, man, he has just been terrible. We'll talk about that, but holy cow, he's on a streak of giving up runs. That said, he's got a pretty good track record against Baltimore. I don't think that happens today. Kershaw, I could see that. Sonny Gray, Tariq Skubal, Pablo Lopez has been doing pretty good. My cat is meowing, so we're just going to let that happen. All right, first game on the card, Marlins and the Mets. Interesting game here. Paul Blackburn going up against Valente Belazzo. Belazzo's been super good this year. He's got a 1.06 ERA when he's away. Blackburn 4.5. He got absolutely shelled versus the A's in his last start. 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 Ks. Only made it 4 innings, so wasn't very good for him. We look at Belazzo. His advanced metrics aren't great. Gives up too many hard hit balls, but man, he has faced some really good teams and shut them down. So he's had no earned runs in 3 of his 5 starts. He gave up 2 earned runs versus KC. Boston's the only team that got to him in Miami. Gave up 5. Gave up 0 earned runs at Philly. 2 earned runs at Atlanta. No earned runs against Cincinnati. No earned runs against Kansas City. So, man, he has faced some really good pitching. Good teams, and he's done pretty well. So kind of hard for me to not back him. I know the Mets offense has been really coming around, but I just don't trust Paul Blackburn. This guy is very prone to getting hit very hard. We've got a 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. Only thing that scares me is, Belazzo is a fly ball pitcher, so there is that opportunity for some home runs. His earned run line is at, I think, 2.5. So I would lean Marlins. There's just too much value here to take the Marlins at plus 164, and they're just that team on getaway day that just seems to get wins. They are very good on Sundays and getaway days, so can't fade them in this spot. All right, Nats at the Phillies. Tajon Walker going up against Jake Irvin. Walker is just a earned run machine. 5.73 home ERA, basically about the same. His away is a little bit worse, but actually, I'm sorry, it's like a little bit better. Basically the same, but he's given up 3 or more earned runs in 5 of his last 6 starts. He is coming back from an injury. We look at Irvin, also giving up runs, man. He's averaging almost 4 earned runs over his last 7 starts. That said, his last couple starts have been a lot better. Both of these pitchers' earned run line is at 3.5. So that kind of tells you where the books are on this. There should be runs. We got the wind blowing out. Over-unders at 9.5. I kind of like the over here, but not going to take it. If we look at Irvin, he did face Philly on May 17th in Philly. pretty decent outing. 7 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. If we look at Philly, the last 6 outings with Tajon Walker, they have been losses. So they have not won a game in his last 6 starts. So I got to go Nats here. I just don't trust this guy, man. I could see him giving up 5, 6 runs to this team. I think Irvin will give up some runs. We've seen Philly start to kind of turn it around offensively, but the pitch splits are just horrendous for this guy. So give me the Nats. Again, just a value play at plus 150. All right, next game, Pirates at the Mariners. Kirby, not great in his last start against Detroit. Went 3.2 innings, 12 hits, 6 earned runs, 11 total runs. So there was some errors there. But if we look at the splits, it's not great. Like this 2 very weak offensive teams. We've seen the Pirates actually score a decent amount of runs the past 2 games, and we've seen Seattle. This is like 5 games now where they've just failed to score runs. So really hard for me to back the Mariners at minus 162 when I haven't seen them score more than 2 runs in quite a while. So give me the Pirates here. Woodford's not great. This ERA is a little skewed. There's just not a lot of outings there. So that said, Seattle's got 7 hitters that are hitting under 250 against right-handed pitching, whereas Pittsburgh's got 5 hitters that are hitting less than 220. So it's kind of just, it should be a very low-scoring game. I would maybe lean towards the under 8 in this one. All right, next game, Red Sox at the Orioles. Cutter Crawford going up against Albert Suarez. I thought Suarez was going to pitch yesterday. They ended up going with Cade Povich. So we get Suarez today. Suarez has been pitching better as of late. He hasn't given up an earned run in his last 2 outings. It's about roughly 10 innings he went in those 2 combined. Crawford, oh boy, Cutter Crawford. 26 earned runs in his last 5 starts. He did face Baltimore in Baltimore on May 29th, gave up 5 earned runs. Just doesn't have a good track record against Baltimore. He's got almost a 7 ERA versus Baltimore going back to 2022. So this has just been a team that has hit him very well. We see, he's got a 320 average to lefties, 250 to righties. There's going to be a decent amount of lefties in that Baltimore lineup today, and a lot of their power is when they're able to, those switch hitters come back from the left-handed side. So they're going to be very, very left-handed heavy. In fact, the first 5 hitters he'll face will be left-handed. So he's going to have 7 lefties in that lineup. Not great for him. On the other side, Suarez should give up some runs as well. There's no way he makes it out of this cleanly. Baltimore will get, Boston will get to him. He's given up a 316 average to lefties. Same thing. Baltimore's going to go very left-handed as well. So 4 of the first 5 he'll face will be left-handed. They've got 6 total lefties. So this should be a very high-scoring game ultimately at the end of the day. But I think Baltimore gets it done. They have lost the last 2, so I think they take the last game here. But yeah, like I said, the over is looking real juicy. I do love the over. All right, Royals at the Reds. That game yesterday was crazy. I watched the first, first 5 or 6 innings. Obviously, we were on Kansas City, so when Kansas City got up 3-0 in the second, I was very happy. And then when they hit that grand slam, I was very not happy because that was a lot of runs, and then they just kept going. So we had the under 10. They blew through that by the 3rd inning. So that was an absolute beatdown yesterday by the Royals. 2 games in a row now we've seen the Reds not hit. Brady Singer on the hill for the Royals. Does have a 4.47 ERA, and he has been giving up runs in his last 3 starts. So 2 away starts of his last 3, 13 earned runs. But we look at the Reds, they're just struggling against right-handed pitching, man. They got a bunch of guys hitting under 240. The only thing they do have going for them is their ISO is really high. Just almost every player that should be hitting today has actually above average ISO. So essentially what that means is they can hit extra bases. So there's a little bit of power there. So I guess I would lean probably towards the over. I mean, I'm not going to touch it, but we'll see. That said, Kansas City, man, they've got some guys that are hitting lefties real well. So they've got 4 hitters in that lineup that are hitting over 260 against left-handed pitching. And the righties, they're pretty right-handed heavy, and Abbott does struggle against righties. So I do like the Royals to complete the sweep today. All right, next game, D-backs at the Rays. A little shocking that the D-backs have lost 2 in a row. So I think they win today, avoid the sweep. Merrill Kelly, Drew Rasmussen. Rasmussen's probably going to throw like 2 innings. He hasn't thrown more than 2 all year, so still coming back from injury. So I expect that trend will continue, but wouldn't be shocked if the Diamondbacks get 1 or 2 off of him early. Merrill Kelly, same thing, coming back from injuries, looked really, really good over his last 2 starts. So I like him to dominate a little bit today. Tampa Bay still not getting the job done offensively, right? We haven't seen a massive offensive output. I like them to avoid the sweep today. I just don't see the Diamondbacks losing 3 to Tampa Bay. All right, next game. White Sox Astros. Astros got the job done yesterday. I think it was like 6-1. Kai Busch on the hill. This guy he's not giving up a ton of runs, which is really weird because he walks people like it's his job. He's got a 26% base on balls. I think he's had 5 and 7 walks in his last 2 starts. So this guy will walk a shit ton of people, and I think Astros make him pay for it at home. So they should score a decent amount of runs. Valdez has looked really, really good lately, so I like the way he looks here. This is an easy. I mean, the run line's at -170. I'd be open to 2.5. I mean, I could see this being just an absolute beatdown game here. That said, Kai Busch was really good against the Yankees. Somehow walked 7 and only gave up 2 earned runs. So, take that for what you will, but should get shelled today. All right, Guardians at the Brewers. I like the Brew Crew here today. Ben Lively going up against Colin Rea. I like the pitch splits for Rea. It look really good against Cleveland. They have just not been hitting right-handed pitching very well, honestly. Whereas Milwaukee, they've got 6 hitters that are hitting over 260 against right-handed pitching. So they should get to Lively. There's nothing special about him. He is giving up him and Rhea, really. I mean, essentially the same in terms of hard hit percentage, exit velo. Yeah, I think the Brewers have a nice little trouncing here, and they've won 4 in a row. I'm not going to fade them. Cleveland's been on a little bit of a down skid a little bit here, so can't really see the value at taking Cleveland at +105. Brew Crew are a very good home team. All right, next game, Dodgers at the Cardinals. We were on the Cardinals yesterday. They came through. It was a really nice win yesterday. Today we've got Kershaw against Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is just, it's not a great year for him. He's very much kind of a shell of what he has been. You can almost count on him giving up, somewhere between 2 and 4 earned runs every single start. So I think this Dodgers offense gets to him. He has given up a 274 average to righties. Been pitching pretty well to lefties. Kershaw's looking better and better every start. So I think he'll come out, probably give up 2 earned runs. I think that's fairly safe to say. He's going to be somewhere in that 1 to 3 range. I don't think he just gets absolutely hammered today. Yeah, I like the pitch splits for him. Pitch splits for Sonny Gray don't look as rosy. And the Dodgers are hitting better with runners in scoring position. Still hitting 286 over the past week. So I like the Dodgers to get it done today. Avoid back-to-back losses. The over 8. I think that's like a really good number. I could see this being like a 5-3 kind of game. So give me the Dodgers there. All right, this game. This one should be interesting. We've got a 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing in at Wrigley. We've got the over-under at 6.5. I will tell you the last 2 times we've seen the wind blow like this with an over-under in the 6s, it has gone over by like the 4th inning. So take that for what you will. Shota Imanaga going up against Bowden Francis. Essentially a bullpen game for Toronto. Francis has been really good in this situation. This will be his, I want to say, 4th start in this bullpen role. 2 of them came against Baltimore. He did really well, and he was very serviceable in his last start. So he's given up a really good split to lefties and righties, 176-ish to both sides. Imanaga a little bit weaker, pitching against right-handed hitters. So guys like Springer, Vlad, those folks could have a decent day, but man, this wind is just going to wreak havoc. And the Blue Jays just aren't used to this. So the ball does real weird shit when the wind starts blowing like this. So Cubs are obviously used to this environment. I give them the advantage here. Obviously, they do have a pitching advantage as well. It's just how many runs can they score. But ultimately, give me the Cubbies here, -185. Next game, Rangers at the Twins. Pablo Lopez going up against Tyler Mahle. Yeah, I think Mahle gets hit or I think Lopez gets hit a little bit today. Malley's looked super good in his last two starts. Man, the movement on his pitches have been fantastic. He's only throwing about 92. But the last two teams he's faced, man, it looks like he's throwing 100. They have not been able to catch up to his fastball. His changeups looked really, really good. So he's been keeping them. Or, no, I'm sorry, not his changeup. His splitter has looked really good. So he's been keeping all the hitters off balance. So I think that continues today. Give me the Rangers to avoid a sweep. All right, next game, Padres at the Rockies. This was a little beatdown yesterday. Dylan Cease pitched pretty good. Joe Musgrove going up against Bradley Blaylock. This is going to be Blaylock's first start in Coors Field. So, I like to fade people making their first start in Coors. It's just a different beast. Musgrove has made 3 starts at Coors. Only averaging like 3 earned runs in those 3 starts. Damn good for Coors. That said, he hasn't faced the Rockies since 2022. So if we look at the Padres, they're hitting right-handed pitching really well. They got 7 hitters on the season that are hitting over 270 against right-handed pitching. So I like them to score a lot of runs today. I mean, we know Colorado is going to get some runs as well. The pitch splits aren't overly favorable for Musgrove, but I think if we're talking about a slugfest here, I'll take the Padres sticks all day in a slugfest. So give me the Padres to win that game. All right, next game, Giants at the Athletics. Blake Snell, dude, has looked real good. Really started to kind of come into form. Then he threw the no-hitter, and he's basically just been untouchable since that game. Pitch splits don't look amazing versus the Athletics, and we know the Athletics can pop off against lefties sometimes, but we didn't see it in the Met series. It could happen today at home, but there's no way I can't back JP Sears over Blake Snell. So definitely going with the Giants here. Sears did face the Giants not that long ago, about 18 days ago. Pitched a really good game in San Francisco. That said, I think having faced him very recently, they get to him today in Oakland. So we've got 7 Giants hitters that are hitting over 270 versus left-handed pitching. That's the one thing they've actually been able to do decently. Oakland, they've got 5 hitters that are hitting under 250. I will say, though, Andujar is crushing left-handed pitching. Dude's almost hitting 400 this year against left-handed pitching. So I believe we have a prop for him. I think his total bases, so it's like 0.5. I feel pretty good that he'll get a hit today. So that's a prop I would lean towards. I mean, there is some value in taking the A's at home. They are, much better at home. They're 500 at home, but Blake Snell just too good, man. And we were on the Athletics yesterday, so I like them to bounce back and get the win today for the Giants. All right, Braves at the Angels. I don't love this game. I really don't love this game at all. Charlie Morton is a mixed bag. He's either going to do outstanding or he's going to get shelled. That said, Jack Coach, this guy's not good. His last outing was actually decent, but he should get rocked today. Really should get rocked today. We just need to see the Braves bats come around. That's just kind of that's the mixed bag. They were hitting last night. They did really good. Ended up getting 9 runs. So I like them to get to this guy. They should. We just need old Grandpa Charlie to just not suck today. All right, last game on the card. Yankees at the Tigers. Yankees. 3 hits yesterday. Made Quintero look like a Cy Young winner. Rodon. I mean, I'm not shocked Rodon got hit, but I thought the Yankees would score so many runs it wouldn't matter. Skubal going up against Stroman. Stroman's actually been really good on the road. He's been horrendous in Yankee Stadium, but he's got a 2.83 away ERA. Skubal is touchable. His 2.34 home ERA is 14-4. That said, the Yankees do feast on lefties, so I'm going Yankees here. Not the popular pick for sure, but I like the Yankees to get the job done at plus money. Just too much value. We look at the pitch splits; they're not great for Skubal. Yankees over the last 30 days, second against lefties in fastballs, first in sliders. So I think they get the job done today. It's just too much value. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. We look at the Tigers, man. They've got 6 hitters that are hitting under 200 against right-handed pitching this year. I can't trust a team that is struggling to hit right-handed pitching. Like so many of this team's under 200. It's ridiculous. All right, best bets today. Boston, Baltimore. This is my favorite one. Over 9. I mean, I think Crawford gets hit. I think they get to Suarez. This reminds me of game 2 where they had 30 hits and 22 runs. Like, we could see something similar, and I love it because it was a low-scoring game yesterday. So I just don't think they go back-to-back low-scoring games. Another one I like is Miami team total over 3.5. We got a 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. They've hit righties really well. They do good in the last game of a series. And Blackburn's just not a stud. He is not. I think he'll get his Ks, right? I think he ends up with 5 or 6 strikeouts, but he's going to give up some runs. So over 3.5 is really good. Mets bullpen isn't the greatest, so I really like that line at plus money. That's just too good a value to pass up. Parlays, again, it's Sunday, man. We're keeping things really light. We're going for wins, try to get some units back. We're going to go Cubs, Houston run line, and the Giants at plus 283. And then, so that's just going to be a half a unit. And then 2 units. We're going to go double unit here. We're firing bullets. We're going to go Washington, Philly over 8. Irvin should give up some runs. Walker 100% will give up some runs. I wouldn't be shocked if Washington gets 4 or 5 off this guy. He's horrendous, like so bad. So that's plus 132. Those are both alt lines too. So we went down 1 run. That way, I think worst case, we push these. I just cannot see both of these not hitting. So at plus 132, good value there. Fun parlay is plus 476. Padres, Houston run line, Giants, Cubs. Upset parlay, Washington, Miami, Pittsburgh. I could see all those hitting. Miami's probably the one I would be the most concerned with. But that's plus 1,457. So pretty crazy odds there. Prop leans I like. Blackburn over 4.5 Ks. I think he gets that. If we look at the Marlins versus right-handed pitching, I mean, they do like to strike out a little bit. So I like that bet. Kirby over 5.5 Ks. That's just a little low against a Pirates team that really sucks offensively and they strike out a ton. But that also kind of lends me to believe that they're expecting Pittsburgh to score some runs as well. Abbott under 5.5 Ks. Royals just don't strike out a ton against left-handed pitching. I like that a lot. Imanaga under 5.5 Ks. Same thing. Toronto's just not a team that strikes out a ton against left-handed pitching. Somewhere around, I think, like 15% over the last 30 days. Give me Bobby Witt Jr. over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. This is just kind of low for him. This guy's been on an absolute tear. He's so good. I could see him, getting a base hit, scoring a run, and then later in the game knocking in an RBI. Who knows, right? He can hit a 3-run home run. Guy's just crazy good. Michael Harris the second, under 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's just a little high for him. Andujar over, basically needs to get a single, right? If he does that, it's minus 184. Like I said, hitting 400 off of lefties. Balazzo under 2.5 earned runs at plus money. This is a risky play with the wind blowing out, but like I said, there's only been 1 game that he's given up more than 2 earned runs. So that's just a play on recent history. Nerfies, I like Seattle and Pittsburgh minus 115, although this one hasn't been hitting actually. They have been scoring in the first, so a little risky there. Giants and Oakland, love this one at minus 160, and New York and Detroit at minus 130. So some other things I liked, they just kind of all happen to revolve around team totals. So Pittsburgh over 3.5 team total at plus money. They've hit this in the last 2, so I like that. Diamondbacks team total over 3.5. A little risky at Tropicana, but like I said, I expect them to right the ship today and avoid a sweep. Dodgers team total over 3.5. This is really low for a Dodgers team. I just didn't want to pay the juice at minus 145. And then Blue Jays team total over 2.5 at minus 120. I know there's a big wind blowing in, but man, 3 runs is that's really, really low. So that's where we're at today. If you guys follow the WNBA, there is like a no sweat bet on DraftKings today. So I'll be putting out my 4-leg. I think you got to do a 4-leg for that or something. Actually, I don't think you do. But whatever it is, I'll post that on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, I will post that there later today. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you tomorrow.